Inside Obstacle News.
How you doing?
I'm doing.
Yeah, big year 2014, huh?
2014 was a big year, but not as big as when we had our first child
Oh
at
yeah.
the house. Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
company's growing like crazy, but in perspective, I think growing kids at home has been quite exciting. It's just the same.
And how has that I mean the entire Spartan experience and the growing of the company and everything, how have you found balance with work, family, that kind of stuff?
It's great because my wife is awesome, and she said that I can be on the road 250 days a year as long as I buy her nice things.
Excellent. And I've seen, and even listening to your podcast and everything, because I have been listening, that, you get your kids involved.
We can track who listens, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we know if you didn't listen, I wasn't going to take this call.
Well, I'm subscribed on Stitcher. You got to put on your podcast page. You have the iTunes link, but you should get the Stitcher link up there too for all us Android people.
Will do.
Awesome. But yeah, listening to the podcast and everything, it sounds like you get your kids, pretty involved with your active lifestyle and the Spartan lifestyle as well.
Yeah, the kids work out 2+ hours a day. So if I did any more, they said social services were going to take me away. So
Yeah.
they're very active.
That's excellent. Well, yeah, I mean, 2014, big year for you, and we were just discussing the podcast here, and so I've been listening, really enjoying it, and it's not exactly like Spartan racing specific. It seems to be a lot of kind of, you're talking to these extremely successful people, and so far it's been really entertaining and really interesting to hear from all these different people. So, who else,
At the end of the day, I always thought in my life that I'm looking for correlations. And was there a correlation between people that own businesses in Queens and personality, or what was it that got them to that level? I looked for the same things on Wall Street. I looked for the same things in long distance endurance racing when I was doing adventure races all over the world, and so I'm always looking for the reading the tea leaves to see what are those attributes that make somebody successful in life, no matter how they define success. So, and that's really what the podcast is about.
Excellent. Yeah, I got to meet Tony the Fridge. I was in the middle of my beast on Vermont, just about to miss the spear throw. When I ran into him, he was doing some filming with Michael up there, and it was pretty cool to meet him. But now I know a lot more about his story, so that was really interesting. So everybody's definitely.
Have you met Susan the Stove?
No. Is she gonna be?
She carries a stove everywhere she goes. So I'm thinking we got Susan the Stove, Tony the Fridge, and Mike the Microwave. Bring them together in the woods. We got a full kitchen.
Just throw in the kitchen sink in there, and absolutely.
We need Karen the kitchen sink.
Yeah. Excellent. So, any other big names that we can look forward to in the podcast?
Well, we got Branson coming. We got a guy named Barry Sternlicht, who arguably is one of the greatest hotel real estate investors ever. We've got the guy that Shop Bin Laden you guys already saw, I believe, Mark Owen. We've got General Stanley McChrystal. We got quite a list coming. It's gonna blow you away.
Awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. And so, did you really kiss Ben Greenfield? I gotta ask.
I did. That was a disaster. I was going to give him mouth to mouth, and I was going to put my fingers between my lips and his lips, and somehow I closed my eyes because it was so weird to begin with, and my lips ended up on his, and we both jerked our heads back. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I got to meet Ben in Vermont, and he's a pretty cool guy, and he seems to have the whole podcast thing really, nailed down. So it was cool to hear him on there. Are you going to have any other Spartan racers specifically on the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go through the whole... We've got the cruise coming up, so the plan is while we're on the cruise, we'll have, 2,000 Spartans there, and we'll do a bunch of recording on that cruise trip. We try to do it when we go to location. We try to get 5 or 10 of them done at that specific location to make it more effective, for us.
And whose idea was the cruise to begin with? How'd that come about?
The cruise, Leonardo DiCaprio called, and he said he did some Titanic thing, and he was looking for us to get involved in something similar, and so we brainstormed, we came up with the Spartan Cruise. But, no, the second Spartan movie after 300 that came out was about a naval battle.
Okay.
And we thought it would be really fun to do something similar, so everyone thinks that they're going to be sleeping in a cabin on the cruise, and that's what they're paying for. But in fact, the cruise really just is it's kind of like the rabbit that the dogs chase at the dog track. We're swimming, everybody's swimming behind the cruise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to have them under the boat with the oars, like...
We'll have, if you bought a suite on the cruise, you'll have that.
Oh, okay, that's a VIP. That's VIP.
The really inexpensive price rooms are the guys shoveling the coal, and then most of us are swimming behind the boat.
Gotcha. Well, one of the other really interesting things coming up is the Combine. Tell me a little bit about this Combine and what you're looking to accomplish with that.
Who'd you hear it from? Who told you?
Joe DeSena. Talk to him a little bit.
The Combine that's going on out right now in SoCal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we brought together all our SGX coaches, and if that's what we're talking about, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
And these guys are going to get somewhat recertified. They're going to be competing with each other, right?
It's the pros, the elites.
Yeah,
against each other, SGX coaches.
And SGX coaches, yeah. So how many total? I'm just talking to Anthony Matisse as I look at you. How many total we have out there?
I don't remember the last time I heard the numbers. It's small.
150, something like that. I think it's 150 total.
Awesome.
Between the coaches and the elites, and it's just going to be a head-to-head battle. Yeah.
See who's going to be like the next top dog.
Yeah, we're going to see who the next top dog is, and then they become the CEO of Spartan Race.
Sounds like a lot of fun. While you've got Anthony Matisse there, I have one of my listener or viewers had asked a question because I said, hey, I'm going to have Joe on my show, and do you have any questions for him? And one of them was, are you going to expand hurricane heats internationally?
We are. We're actually working with the Weather Channel, and because if we're going to do it, Anthony and I sat around and said, let's do it in places where the worst weather exists. So what they're going to do is they'll give us a 30-day forecast, and then we'll just move additional races to those areas. There are some liability concerns with our legal department regarding tornadoes and such.
Right.
But I was just actually in Wales in an area where the weather was terrible. We had like 105, 110 mile an hour winds, and so we thought that'd be a perfect place to do hurricane heat.
That's great. Now, speaking of kind of like moving and international and things like that, the Spartan World Championship's going to be moving this year.
Spartan World Championship's going to Lake Tahoe, which is exciting. And we've got this new system where everybody's got to earn their spot in the elite wave, which is exciting from around the globe. They earn a coin, a Spartan coin, which is pretty authentic, pretty nice. And if they've got that coin, they put it in their spot, and they get to race for money. They get to be in the big leagues.
Awesome. Let me grab a couple more quick questions from my audience. There's another one that's out there. Some people had criticized when the Spartan World Championships came on NBC, and they saw some of the pros, and I won't call anybody out, but some of the pros doing their burpees and stuff like that. It looked like chest to ground.
I did not like those burpees.
Okay, so you're in agreement that those were not great burpees.
I was pissed. Unacceptable.
Okay. So what do you hope to do to? I mean, I know you guys have like video on the scene, and you got the marshals there. What else can you do? I mean, it seemed like there was people all around, but then you still have these burpees that don't look great. How do you combat that?
I think we just gotta enforce, just like any sport did as it developed, stricter and stricter rules. So look, there are gonna be people that don't like us when we pull them from the course or they get DQ'd. But you don't do your burpees right, you're out.
Okay.
That's simple.
Now, do you see a future? Because you've talked about being in the Olympics and governing body and things like that, and some other races have talked about like mandatory obstacle completion, which would take burpees completely out of the equation. Do you see?
Well, we've done that. That's not
Yeah.
anything newsworthy, because we've done that before. If you didn't complete certain obstacles in our previous races for the last few years at the World Championship, you couldn't finish the race officially. So I think you will continue to see that.
Okay. Do you think it would be a larger percentage, or do you ever see the burpee kind of going away at all?
No, the burpee will never go away.
Never go away.
Never go away. It's too much of a staple, too important of an exercise to positively change this world. And I don't know. I love the fact that it's so awful at the same time. Right?
No,
it's
I
healthy,
I did 150 at the at the Beast. The platinum rig got me. Both spears got me for whatever reason. But yeah, no, it's really brutal, and I can guarantee that my chest hit the ground and my feet left the ground, but they didn't look any prettier than than anybody else's. But I did them. I did every one. So along that lines, we were talking about Olympics and things like that. What about the governing body that you guys kind of introduced last year, but we haven't really seen any of that? Are you guys still working on that? When do we see more?
We are. I saw a ton of emails actually yesterday with Ian Adamson going back and forth. It's going to be a long road. It's once you start to create regulations and a governing body, it's does not go as fast as an entrepreneur would like. But we'll get there. We're going to need it. We can't get in the Olympics without it. Yeah, you know me. I hate saying things like it'll just take time.
Yeah.
Because I don't have patience when it comes for that.
Sure.
But we'll get there.
Excellent. Now, do you see yourself as the governing body kind of progresses, cooperating with other event companies out there to get that done?
Are there other event companies?
Yeah, like, should I name them?
Who knows? I mean, as long as they take it as seriously as we do, and they've got a solid foundation, and they're going to exist a year from now, then sure. Part of the problem's been a lot of these companies come and go.
Yeah, it was just before we even got on the call. I was looking at Google Trends, where you can see all the different data and search data from different companies, and I put a couple in that just didn't even register, didn't even blip. But you look at something like Tough Mudder that was like way up here at the beginning, and they've come down. Warrior Dash, I think you guys passed them in like middle of 2013. So you're clearly the leader worldwide, and how do you plan to maintain that, and what kind of innovations do you see coming for 2015?
Really tough question, right? I mean, it's very hard to get on top, as you know, we all know. It's even harder to stay on top, and it's something that keeps me up every night. So I wish I could tell you that I had a silver bullet answer to how you do it, but I believe as long as you work hard and never take your eye off the ball and continue to deliver a great product to consumers, continue to be authentic. At the end of the day, we're authentic, right? We believe in this stuff. We do this stuff ourselves. And then all the things on the periphery that that we're always working on, whether it's the NBC show or the governing body you just talked about, or even the podcast. And all these things help. The book, right? They all help get people excited about the Spartan lifestyle. And then I think the secret bullet, you remember Colonel Sanders, right? They would never give up their your secret ingredient
Yeah.
facts for right. I think our secret ingredients, it's the name.
Yeah.
The name is just an incredible name. It's existed so long. It was the first exclusive special operator military unit in existence, and we all get such an emotional response when we hear the word. I wouldn't say that's not a large part of it.
Well, I mean, I absolutely agree. I think Spartan is an amazing brand, and at the end of the day, after you've done the race, you can say, I am a Spartan. You know, I mean, you look at on the triathlon end of things, people, that Ironman, being an Ironman, being a Spartan, you know, there's very few.
It's so interesting that you said that because we talk. I have a lot of friends at Ironman. I've done a lot of Ironman in my life, and their reason for being so successful is exactly that. You can't go to a cocktail party and say, "Well, I did an Ironman kind of race." You either did one
Right.
or didn't.
Yeah.
And Spartan, in many ways, has become that. Right. You're gonna go to a race and say, "Well, I did a mud run." No, you're a Spartan.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that, and you know, I'm proud to call myself a Spartan. Got my trifecta this. That's definitely a badge of honor. Sound like you said, cocktail party. You say that, it sounds pretty cool. One other question, you had mentioned like NBC and things like that. We were talking kind of like pushing the envelope, and so we saw a little teeny piece in Vermont last year of this short course racing. Any other plans or anything that you can give me? Because we haven't seen it come out on NBC yet, and I have this footage. It's still sitting, you know, in my camera, in my computer, waiting to come out when I get the go-ahead, but, you know,
I'd love to tell you more, but I'd have to kill you. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, but you might have to wait longer than we all want to wait.
Yeah.
Why don't we give away a cruise if you want? Want to give away a cruise?
Yeah, absolutely.
But not one of the rowing cabins.
Oh yeah, not one of the rowing.
Swimming cabins.
The swimming cabins. Yeah, absolutely. What should be our stipulation? What should somebody have to do?
Somebody should have to watch the Tony the Fridge podcast.
Okay.
And then you and I will come up with a question related to that podcast.
Sounds good.
To answer. In addition, they have to know how many people were at the last hurricane heat.
All right. Where? Okay.
So if they can get those two things correct, you and I will come up with a question.
Sounds good.
And then you talk to Tony, find out what the number is, and we'll give somebody one of the rowing cabins.
Excellent.
You bring your own oar.
Yeah. And life vests.
And life vest. All right, I'll see you.
All right, thanks again.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Inside Obstacle News. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out some of my other awesome clips, training tips, and interviews.